HOA Karen asks, Black woman to leave her own house. What happens next is unbelievable. Hit the comment from which city you are watching this video, and if you like the video, do subscribe our channel. It all began on a warm Saturday morning in Maplewood Estates, a neighborhood that looked perfect on the outside. Manicured lawns, shiny SUVs in driveways, kids riding bicycles under the shade of tall oak trees. It was the kind of place real estate agents called a slice of suburban heaven. But behind the white picket fences, not everything was as peaceful as it seemed. Because when Denise Carter, a hard-working Black woman in her 40s, moved into her dream home, she had no idea that her very existence in the neighborhood would spark a storm. And the person at the center of it all? A woman the neighbors only half-jokingly called HOA Karen. Her real name was Karen Whitfield, the president of the Homeowners Association. A woman who wore pearls while gardening, who took pictures of mailboxes if they were an inch too tall, and who prided herself on being the guardian of Maplewood standards. And the moment she laid eyes on Denise unloading boxes into the beautiful two-story brick house on Willow Creek Lane, something inside her snapped. Because to Karen, Denise didn't belong there, not because of her car, not because of her house, not because of her job, but because of the color of her skin. Denise had worked her whole life for this moment. She was a respected architect, a woman who spent years designing skyscrapers, museums, and hospitals, leaving her mark on cities across the country. A woman who had sacrificed sleep, weekends, and relationships to provide for her teenage daughter, Maya. This house was not just a property. It was a dream fulfilled, a sanctuary, a promise that no matter how hard life had been, they had finally made it. But Karen didn't see any of that. She saw a Black woman unloading boxes into a house that, in her twisted mind, should have been owned by someone else. And so, the war began. The first confrontation happened just 3 days after Denise moved in. Denise was outside planting flowers near her porch when she noticed a shadow falling over her. She looked up and saw Karen, standing there with a clipboard, her lips pressed into a tight line. "Excuse me?" Karen said, her voice dripping with false politeness. "Can I help you?" Denise smiled, wiping the dirt from her hands. "Oh, hello. No, I'm fine. Just getting the garden ready. I'm Denise, the new owner of this house." Karen blinked. "Owner?" she repeated, as if the word didn't make sense. "Yes," Denise said proudly. "Just closed last week." Karen's smile didn't reach her eyes. Well, there must be some mistake. You see, we have very strict rules in Maplewood Estates. Not just anyone can move in here." Denise raised an eyebrow. "I'm not just anyone. I bought this house. Legally. With my own money." Karen's mask slipped for a moment. Her eyes hardened. "Well, we'll see about that," she muttered before walking off. It was the first sign of trouble, but far from the last. Over the next few weeks, Karen made Denise's life miserable. She filed complaint after complaint with the HOA. Denise's grass was half an inch too long. Her trash can was placed 2 inches outside the acceptable zone. Even the color of her front door was too bold, though it was the exact same beige as half the houses on the street. Denise tried to ignore it. She kept her head high, telling herself that Karen was just a busybody with nothing better to do. But then, it escalated. One evening, Denise was coming home from work when she found Karen standing in her driveway with 2 other HOA board members. "Can I help you?" Denise asked, trying to keep her voice calm. Karen crossed her arms. "We need to see proof that you live here," Denise frowned. "Proof? This is my house." "What are you talking about?" Karen smirked. "We've had complaints. People are saying you don't actually own this property, that you might be renting illegally. Or worse, trespassing." Denise's blood boiled. "Trespassing in my own home?" Karen tilted her head, her voice sickly sweet. "Well, we just don't see how someone like you could afford a place like this." The words hit like a punch. "Someone like you." Denise clenched her fists, fighting back tears of rage. But instead of yelling, she walked inside, grabbed her deed and mortgage papers, and slapped them down on the hood of Karen's car. "Take a good look," Denise said through gritted teeth. Because I worked for this, I earned this, and no one, not even you, is going to take it away from me. Karen's smile faltered, but only for a moment. Then she leaned closer and whispered, "We'll see about that." And she meant it, because what Karen did next would shock the entire neighborhood. The very next week, Denise came home to find an official-looking notice taped to her front door. It claimed she was in violation of HOA bylaws and demanded that she vacate the property within 30 days. Denise was furious. She stormed into the next HOA meeting, holding the letter high. "This is harassment," she shouted. "You don't have the right to tell me to leave my own house." But Karen just sat there, smiling smugly as if she had already won. "Rules are rules," Karen said. "And if you can't follow them, maybe this neighborhood isn't the right fit for you." The room was silent. Some neighbors looked uncomfortable. Others avoided eye contact. Nobody spoke up. But one man in the back, a quiet older gentleman, named Mr. Thompson, finally raised his hand. "Excuse me?" he said slowly. "But isn't Denise an award-winning architect? Didn't she design the new city library?" The room turned. Karen's smile wavered. "And didn't she pay in full for her house?" Thompson continued. "Because if I recall, she outbid 3 other buyers, including me." A murmur spread across the room. Karen's face turned red. But before she could respond, Denise stood tall. "I'm not going anywhere, and if you try to push me out, I'll take this to court, and I promise you, the headlines won't be pretty." But Karen wasn't done. The next morning, Denise woke to the sound of police sirens outside her house. She rushed to the door, only to find officers demanding she step outside. "Ma'am, we received a call about a trespasser," one officer explained. Denise's heart sank. "A trespasser? This is my house." She showed them her ID, her deed, her keys. The officers exchanged glances, then sighed. "Sorry, ma'am. Someone reported you, but clearly, you belong here." From across the street, Denise saw Karen watching with her arms folded, a smug grin plastered on her face. That was the last straw. Denise contacted a lawyer. She gathered every piece of evidence, the fake notices, the bogus complaints, even the police report. And when the case finally went to court, the truth came crashing down. The judge didn't just dismiss the HOA's claims, he ruled that Karen had abused her power. He fined the HOA thousands of dollars in damages, and he ordered Karen to step down as president immediately. Denise walked out of that courtroom with her head held high. But the story didn't end there. Because just weeks later, the neighborhood voted to dissolve the HOA entirely. Why? Because people finally realized what Denise had known all along. Karen wasn't protecting the neighborhood. She was poisoning it. And the very neighbors who once stayed silent began stopping by Denise's porch, bringing cookies, offering apologies, asking for forgiveness. Today, Denise and her daughter still live in their beautiful brick house on Willow Creek Lane. Her flowers bloom brighter than ever. Her porch is filled with laughter, and her home is truly hers, free from the shadow of Karen. As for Karen, well, she sold her house and moved away. Some say she tried to join another HOA in another city. Others say she lives alone now, with nothing but her clipboard and bitterness. But one thing is certain. When you try to tear someone down because of hate, you only destroy yourself. So remember this. Never underestimate the power of resilience. Never let prejudice steal your peace. And never forget, what's unbelievable isn't how cruel people can be. It's how much stronger we become when we stand up for what's right. If you like the video, do subscribe our channel for more video.